Hi everyone, welcome back to Crochet Rocks. Tracy here, and I am going to do a little bit of this one, which is the experiment from TEMU. So yeah, looking at it, I agree with what the majority of people have said. A smaller blue line would be better. So I'm going to frog one back because I think that's just one too many. I hate frogging work. It's actually an assault upon my person. Normally, thought of frogging anything, but it's just one row, you know, just one. It's fine. I can cope. I can cope. I can cope. Okay, so I'm going to undo the last stitch and change colour as I go. So, where's my scissors? Okay, so I'm gonna leave a very long tail because I've got so much of this yarn that there's no danger of me running out of it. Not for this project anyway. Okay, so wind this up and I'll pop that over there. I'm going to use this one. So this is the yarn, if you're just watching me for the first time about this. This is the yarn that I got from TEMU. TEMU, some people say TEMU, but I got it TEMU. And here it is, it came in a pack of 5. I was a tad disappointed. It looked like it should have been in a box, the way they displayed it. It didn't come in a box. But yeah, I've just been putting it on there. So I'm going to use my wool genie now, because I think it should be all right. If I can get it in, that is. I can get the thing in. Yeah, it should fit on there nicely. That's it. I haven't got to chase it around the tabletop. Cool. Right, so I don't know if you've been watching me recently, but apologies if I cough, splutter, don't sound my usual self. I have an absolute virus from hell, and I seriously have had something wrong with me since just after Christmas, and I get one after the other. It just keeps coming back, just keeps on returning. Right, so I'm just going to tie that. I don't often, sometimes I tie in a little knot, sometimes I don't, but I'm going to in this case, and I will weave or work in the end, but I will just give it a little knot so that it doesn't get looser, or well, won't get tighter, will it? It's going to maybe come undone. Okay, so I'm going to pop that around there and turn it. So yeah, I've had this virus, so I think that obviously there's been more than one, but last time I went to the doctors for this, you should have given me some antibiotics, because it was definitely on my chest, and they always know better, don't they? They always know better. My old doctor was so good. He would have known me, and he would have known that he needed to get rid of it, and so possibly I'm just going to feed this through the way, because I always get rid of my ends in quite an unusual way, so I don't like to sew in too many, but I'm just going to zigzag across a little way with this before I get going. So he always knew when to do the antibiotics for steroids and see it off, otherwise it's bronchitis for me or something like that. And this guy totally does not know me or anything, and oh, don't need antibiotics, don't we? Okay, so yeah. I haven't been able to lay flat for a whole week. Of course, got worse over the weekend, and you can't see a doctor at the weekend. Can't see one, best of times. I'm not going to moan about it anymore, but I'm supposed to be going back there this afternoon and see what he says. He did say if it gets worse, come back, and it has. I thought I was getting over it yesterday. I had a lot more energy yesterday, but that coincided with my last day of the steroids he gave me, and now they've run out. I seem to have gone tumbling backwards into the abyss. I know. It's been nothing if not a tad melodramatic. And why not? Right, so sorry about looking at the top of my nose, But I'm struggling to get this all in shot. Maybe it's because I'm a bit on the, what's the word? Floppy side. So I'm not holding it as prone as I should, maybe, I don't know. So now I'm going to work my other tail in, and I do that as I go. So yeah, I do have videos that show this. It is a bit of a, you know, an unusual process that I devised over the years, really, that because I'm allergic to sewing ends in, you know, really not my favourite pastime. And especially when you want to make a project where you change colour a lot, sometimes carrying the yarn looks awful, and you see it, and who wants that? So yeah, I've devised these little effective ways of working my yarn ends in. I'm going to have to do a little bit more with this one, I think. I don't just want to chop that off. I want to go as far as I can with this because, well, you know, burying it as best you can, less likelihood of it popping back out again at any point. You always do get some ends, don't you, sometimes? Work their way out when they've washed and time and time again and that sort of thing. I saw one of the blankets that I made for someone a little while ago, and I looked and I thought, oh my God, look at the ends. But then, you know, it had been well washed a lot. So yeah, back on the jazzy colours, guys. Back on the jazzy colours. This end's getting a bit too small now. Probably will be the last one that I can work over. I'll just drop it now. And I'll drop the other one and I'll sort them out in a sec. You know, at the end I can cut them all off. I haven't got to worry about them anymore. So what have you been up to? Have you been making anything? Are you doing any kind of crochet alongs or cows and mals? And you know, I said I wasn't going to do this one, but I think I might do it as I go. So I used to do crochet alongs. I don't mean follow people's crochet alongs. I mean I used to do them. I haven't done one. It's got to be a few years now. I did the circle in the sand, one of my squares that I invented, and I did a willow square one, and there was a few. I did a chunky mile a minute, and lots of them really. There we go. I kind of like the way it's kind of picking the colour up again. That just sets it off nicely. I'm not going to do lots of different colours. I don't think. I think I'm just going to stick with the blue. It's been a bit of a split opinion on that because I've kind of made this a little bit of a interactive whip along where you guys get input into what happens, you know. And the sort of most consensus of opinion was that the blue would be best to keep going on as the accent colour, just the blue, because all the others it might kind of make it a little bit more I don't know, lacking in cohesion perhaps, I don't know, more confusing to the eye, whereas the blue, it's and it is the blue is in this yarn. It is in there. It's one of the colours that are in there. So can't get comfortable. Part of the reason, and I'm going to whinge again now, is because I've not been able to lay down for, well, getting on for a week since this real bad virus hit, since it went to my chest. I've not been able to sleep laying down, and kind of sleeping reclining or sitting, kind of propping loads of pillows up in bed. I find that after a while you really get kind of achy. You just want to lay down. And of course, every time I try, I just can't do it. So, yeah, I'll be glad when it's gone. Things you take for granted in life, you know, being able to lay down in bed and get comfortable. So take it for granted that you can do it, because you do it every night. But then all of a sudden, it's not an option anymore. I do have a nice cup of tea. It's cooled down nicely. I'm going to have a bit. Box, box, box. Got this at the Formula One exhibition. Oh, it's beautiful. Nice cup of biscuit tea by Yorkshire Tea by Taylor's. It's not an advert, although if they want to send me hundreds of boxes of it, I'd go through that in about a week. Just saying, I drink too much tea probably. But yeah, the Formula One exhibition was really good. We went to that Valentine's Day, myself and Gary. We were in London. We got a Christmas present of a night in the Yacht Hotel in London, and it's right by the XL Centre, and they were showing the Formula One exhibition. So rather than queue for ages to check in, we just got there very early, parked up, went to that, come back and checked in without a queue. So that was really good. And as we love a bit of Formula One anyway, it was a good thing for us to go to. And the car park was empty because we got there early, so we got a nice spot. And didn't have to queue for check-in. So we had win-win, win-win-win, box, box, box. But all of the merch was ridiculously expensive. Seriously. I got this and a tyre. The tyre is a key ring, but it is a real genuine Pirelli. Probably as expensive as the ones for my car. No, not really. But it was dear. It was like £45 for a hat, you know, for a baseball cap that said Ferrari on it or something. You know, that's just mental. There is not, I don't care whose name is written on that. I am not paying £45 for a cloth cap beanie, or not beanie, baseball cap. It's just extortion, ripping you off, because they sell so many of them. They don't really need to charge that much, do they? It's just disgusting, to be honest with you. That's another whinge. Another whinge. I'm liking it now. Look at that. Yeah, I'm liking it. That's cool. So this yarn to work with, this TEMU yarn, I have to say, it feels nice. There's not one single solitary fibre that looks like it would split. Let me see if I can get you a good up close and personal look at the actual strand. And I think the blue yarn I've used is slightly thicker, but it is marginal. But you know, it's very, very nice to work with. It's lovely and soft, and it's smooth running on the hook. The colour changes very, very quickly. You know, even a UK double, which is a US single crochet, has 3 colours in it. You know, each loop on the hook is a different colour, so it's pretty wild. But this was just an experiment because I ordered that pack, give it a try. And I was thinking, what should I do with this? Should I do it as a giveaway? What should I do? And I thought, no, let's use it and we can see what it's like. And as you know, I have a yarn shop. And if you didn't know, it's hobbyrocks.co.uk. And I sell all kinds of manner of yarn from different companies and different countries as well. And I have to say that I've had expensive yarns that are worse than this, but I've had an awful lot that's better, you know. It's not the best yarn by any stretch, but if you were making, say, blankets for your local pet shelter, or you know, or even for people, you know, it's not horrible, like maybe a homeless shelter or whatever you were doing charity blankets for, it would be a perfect yarn for that. It would. But it's potluck. That's how this is good. The next lot that I get, if I were to order other yarn, might be awful. I ordered some cotton once that was dreadful, but it looked like it was Caron cakes, but it wasn't. It really wasn't. Right, I'm just going to have a drink. Hold on. Hot tea on a sore throaty sort of, it's kind of a moment's relief while you burn it to submission. See, there's the blues. They are in there, but it becomes a green. And it'll be interesting to see, because part of this experiment is to wash it afterwards, and we'll see what happens to it. I will follow the instructions that it says to the letter. Not that it says an awful lot, but on that bag is all there is. And not even yarn band. I'll show you. I'll get it back. So it comes 5 in a pack like this. There was blues and all sorts, but I chose this rainbow. And this, there's no yarn band, but there is this. And it's not very informative. I don't know if that's even upside down or not, but that's all there is of it. So I'll pop it there. I don't envisage needing to change colour or anything. So what kind of whips are you working on at the moment? I've got lots in the pipeline, because I have, in between, I've had several kind of bouts of this virus coming back, or having a new one, like one after the other, and in between them I felt quite energetic at one point. Got my Crochet back and I was raring to go. So I had this idea to hang on a moment, I've got an end. Yeah, I had this idea. I'll try and work over that bit. There it is. So yeah, I had this idea to do a year of granny squares, and it's not I kind of got asked if it were what I was doing about the, it was something about a book, and it transpired that there is a book in the US, I don't know if it's over here, called A Year of Granny Squares. Or I wasn't following the book, it's just my little kind of project, make along, whatever you want to call it, is called A Year of Granny Squares. So what I'm doing is just doing one a week, and I'm making the square, and I'm trying my best to make a project with each one of those. I got ill, kind of interrupted me getting on with one of them. So yeah, so I've got to do that project, and then for the squares, if they're okay, what do I mean by that? If they're for instance, if I did a cotton place setting, like a cotton table square, to put your, or a table runner or something, and it wasn't appropriate to put in a blanket, couldn't use that one. If it was a basket, couldn't use that one. If it was just a square that I'd adapted to do something with, then maybe I could do one of the squares just for the blanket. So I'm kind of going to end up with quite a lot of squares. I might join some as I go, but I'm going to try my best. Probably not do one massive project, because that would be like 50 squares maybe, I don't know. That would be a lot. So I could colour scheme them a bit, and then try to do a few, like a blanket that's got all the rainbow colours in, or a blanket that's got all the blues in, and that sort of thing. And edge them in the same colour, so that they all kind of try and make it look like they sort of belong. But we're doing a scrappy square blanket of them at the end, so it's kind of like 3 things in one. But the last square I did was for a baby blanket, so it's going to take me a little while to get that project finished, but we can revisit that one when I've done it. Cheers, my dears. I'm gonna have a quick slurp. I've got some water for afterwards, so I've got a drink if I need it. So what's your drink of choice? Everybody knows mine is biscuit tea, but I do have still, even though it got discontinued, some toast and jam tea, and they're nice on occasion. I don't mind that one. And I've got some caramel tea, which is a Twinings, and they bring it out and as a limited edition now and then, but I haven't seen it. I haven't been in the shop where they sell it to see if they've got any more. But that was beautiful, that caramel tea. any other caramel tea I've had has just not been anywhere near that one. But the twinings, there we go. Look at it, it's looking good. I like that. I'm getting, yeah, I'm into it. I'm into it, guys. I'm into it. I have no idea what this blanket will be for. It's just an experiment. Just an experimental blanket. But we're carrying on. We're carrying on. So yeah, I've got that Year of Granny Squares as a project. And I have another one that I started a while ago. And then illness descended and I didn't get it finished. So I've got to do that. And that was a tutorial. Hang on a minute. I'm going to cough. Oh my. And there's others. You know, there are. A few other things I'm working on. But I'm going to try my best not to have too many whips on the go. Although I've got all these ideas that are things I want to do. And it's so hard not to start them when you get that bee in your bonnet about it. And you think, I really want to get going on that. But you've still got all these other things that you're working on. And this is really heavy yarn though. That's the only thing. It's moss stitch. So quite dense yarn wise. So it gets quite heavy on your like pulling you down. Only because I would not normally sit and crochet in this kind of sort of position is the word I'm looking for. And you know, I would be more slouched on my sofa. I can't really film in there at the minute though. One of these days. Tuck it under your arm. That's what my mum used to do. It's a good job I've had a shower. Oh, thanks for that, I hear you say. So yeah, let me know what you're working on. And are you going on any nice vacations this year? Gary and I have got we've got a couple of things planned. We've got we had a holiday that we booked last year, and it's for December of this year. And when we booked it, you know, we kind of booked it all up and then realised, hang on, that's a long way away. It was like 1.5 years away at the time. So we booked up a little cruise to go to the Christmas markets. And so then, you know, Gary had some like little bit of money come in, and he thought, oh, well, let's do another little holiday while we can. So we did. We booked up another one, and so we've got another 2 in the offing. And then we kind of booked one for the following year, which obviously we're not even thinking about paying for just yet. But yeah, we kind of, I'm liking the cruises now since we did the Christmas market one. And you know, there's no danger of falling out the sky in the burning wreckage of a plane. So unless you get hit, of course, by burning wreckage of a plane as you're sort of drifting through the water. I'm cheerful. If I am, I'm a cheerful soul. What do you think? Yeah, I like it. I really do. I think that has really brought the blue out now. Now that you can see this, the colour either side, it's brought the blue out in this. I think. Yeah, I kind of like it. Just as well, really. The only other colour that I would have brought out, I think, would have been the red. I might have maybe done a red stripe, a blue stripe, a red stripe. So what do you think to that idea? Just making 2 colours, red and the blue, or just keep the blue? What do you think? Interactive blanket again. The interactive whip along. Oh my goodness. I'm just so fed up with being ill, guys. It just seems to have like plagued me. It just would not go. I realise they're not all been one thing, but yeah, this sucks though. Oh, would you like to see my next square? This is the next one. Isn't it cute? Oh, seriously? That's the next one. The tutorial won't be in that yarn though, because it's a bit hard to see. And I've got to film that this week. I was going to film it today, but my partner's home. And although he's out the garden. He's making a huge path at the moment, the whole length of the garden and 3 paving slabs wide, and he's having to dig down to put hardcore and all that stuff down. Did it all properly with membrane and stuff like that. So although he's doing all that, I'm aware that he'll just, obviously he'll pop in and he'll come through the house because he'll need to go to the loo, and and he'll just be, interrupting. And I don't mind while I'm doing something like this if I suddenly hear him come in, or he might pop his head through the door or something. But when I'm doing a proper tutorial, I just can't seem to have that distraction around me. It's not, not good. So I like to keep galvanised into what I'm doing. So I won't do it while he's off. And he goes back to work Wednesday. So I will probably aim to record that Wednesday. I've been putting them up on Thursday, but it's not that it's a schedule. I don't schedule. I don't usually schedule. I'm not a scheduler. I'm one of these people that find that if I live my life to a timetable, I get quite depressed about stuff. It's one of the things I always hated about work, when you have a job, is that you've got to be there and you've got to do that and you've got to do this. And I don't do well with that situation. I'm a free spirit. I like to be in control of my destiny. I know it's a tad melodramatic, but you know what I mean. I'm not the person to be tied down with routine. That's what I mean. Even when I had babies and they'd say, "Oh, are they in a routine?" It would just be like a dirty word to me. It's just like, no, I hope not. I don't want to be in a routine. The only routine I liked was the fact that they went to bed and, slept all night. That was as long as they did that, I didn't mind when they wanted to be fed and all that stuff. It was fine by me. But yeah, I was not into the word routine and schedules and, no. This is quite heavy. Maybe my genie needs to come a tad closer. So these are brilliant. I sell these in my shop. I sell the genies and I sell the spare spindles with a spare base, because if you have 2 yarns you're working with and you're doing them one at a time, while the other one's not on there, you can put it on the counter. I mean, this has got a bit of a thingy at the bottom. See it? And it will fall all. It just doesn't fall about, but it doesn't sit proud. Whereas that's perfect. So, yeah, I do the spare spindle and base. So if you needed to run 2 yarn, you need 2 genies. But if you're just using 2 different colours and switching it around, then that's fine to do it that way. And they're brilliant. They really are. And I think they're superior to the wooden ones. And these are the original plastic genies, and they're absolutely the bee's knees. Brilliant. I cannot really function without my genie now, especially for tutorials, because when I first started doing tutorials on YouTube, it's kind of, you've got to kind of think, how am I going to get this done? How am I going to set out my worktop and everything else? And Gary kindly made me this workbench, and I was meant to do them in here. This was going to be my yarn room and do my tutorials, but I soon realized that what you need the yarn to do is to go along here and down. Well, this goes up to the wall, so all it did then was come back at me, and it would be constantly in my way, and it would distract me from doing the tutorial. It would be really off-putting. And so I needed a way of keeping that yarn away from me. And we had this trinket box of a cat, and it's just one of these, I don't know if I've got it up here somewhere. Hang on, I'll show you. Field trip. This little guy was my buddy. This was my tutorial technical piece of equipment. So it is a trinket box which opens up and you can put things in it. Not that there's anything in it. But I have 2 of these. One, they look like my cat that passed away, called Norris, and the other one has a little bit of a fur in there, which they gave me when she had to be put to sleep. But that's what Norris looked like, although she had little posh paws. She had little socks on. Anyway, but you see this tail? I used to loop my yarn around that tail and keep it away from me because it's really heavy. They're enamel and quite heavy. So it used to sit on the side with the yarn looped around the tail, keeping it away from me. So I could not have done tutorials in the early days without my little kitty cat, because that was my saviour. And then I was watching Sam one day, and she had a genie, and I thought, oh, I've seen those before, but I'd never really thought about getting one. And I thought, you know what, I'm gonna give it a go, give it a try. So I bought one from Amazon, and as soon as I got it, I thought, I need to find out where this wholesaler is and get these. And so I've been stocking them ever since, because they are just fabulous, really are. I couldn't be without it now. Perfect, especially if you want to run 2 yarns at the same time. You just have 2 genies, and there's none of that. And when you're doing just 2 colours and you're switching them around, when you've not got them on a genie, they get tangled. They get kind of spiraled into each other. Anyone who's done that knows what I'm talking about. That's just so annoying. And you're constantly moving this ball over that one. No, it didn't go that way. It must have been that way. And but I don't have to do any of that anymore. Thank goodness. Got my genie that can work that out for me. It's godsend. So I'm really thirsty. Where's my water? Cheers, guys. Oh, it's better. Wasn't a massive drink I needed, just dry mouth. Anyway, where's my hole? There it is. That's the only thing with this yarn. I'm not with my glasses on. That's probably one of the reasons I can't see it, but because it is so jazzy, it's kind of hard to see your stitch definition. So, I mean, it wouldn't be a problem if I was doing a bigger stitch, but because it's moss stitch, it's really, where do you put, where is it? It's kind of a judge the distance, really. Judge the distance of your stitch. It's about there. And it just suddenly, that's really how I work with fur. A lot of people don't like working with fur yarns and, fluffy eyelash yarn and stuff like that. And they say, I can't do it. I don't know where to put my hook, but I can sort of figure out the spacing. It's like, and then you can always feel it with your finger as well, but it's the spacing. I can see my stitch will be there. My stitch will be there. I don't know, I just can see the spacing in my head. But that's how I do it. And if I can't, for one reason or another, see that stitch, you can definitely feel it. Like a braille, you feel it. Oh, there's the hole. You can feel it. So I don't mind working with fluffy yarn. I think it's I used to sort of knit with it but not crochet, but now I feel it is so much easier to crochet with than it is to knit with, because if you drop your stitches in knitting with that kind of yarn, you are never ever getting that stitch back, ever. But I know some people can't get their stitches back anyway. It is it's just like retracing a little ladder. But if you've got fur, eyelash yarn or whatever, it's not coming back. I lost it there. Must have been just a bit fatter, that stitch. So that's another thing, that this yarn's consistency in the strand is very good. And I've not had one little tiny kind of knot at the beginning, but I've not had anything else throughout the whole of this. I've got halfway through it now, I think. Yeah, I think I'm halfway through roughly, and it's not caused me any issues. There's not been any more joins in it. I mean, obviously this is the first ball, so we could find that there's more a bit further in I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes. So I kind of got really into these whip-alongs. It's like having some company, isn't it, to crochet with. A crochet buddy. A buddy to crochet with. And I found as well how I kind of got into it in the first place of doing that sort of thing was I had a huge blanket that I was making for Gary. If you've been with me for some time, you'll know the little blighter that I meant. It's a huge thing, it was. And it was so hard to motivate myself to get on with that. Because A, I've never really made anything quite so big in my life. And B, being a creator, you've always got to move on to the next thing, and keep fresh and keep moving. And when you've got a thing that is taking up so much of your time, you can't really devote that much time to it. What do you think? Looking good. Looking good. So yeah, you can't really devote the amount of time you want to one huge project. So I did them on a live stream. And I could have done them as whip-alongs, but I didn't really think about that at the time. But that made me realise that having the company of, even though I was really there, but it did actually made me do it, and I finished it. Guess what? I haven't, to this day, made all the ends, though. There's still ends to sew in. It's for the house, as one would say. It's for the house. So, yeah. If it's for somebody else, I'm really meticulous about getting rid of those ends, but, you know, I really ought to do it, to be honest with you. Well, this is cool. I'm enjoying this. It's always the kind of projects that I fall into as a little kind of spur of the moment experiment, or just sitting there and doing a bit of freestyling. They're always the ones I enjoy the most. I made a blanket. And, I made a scarf on my channel, and it was called the Sweetheart Scarf. And it's a stitch that makes little hearts. Obviously, that's why I called it that. And I wanted to make a blanket with it for one of the grandchildren. I think that was actually for me, because when my little grandsons came along, they were born in the same year, and I bought myself a little stroller buggy, you know, so that when I looked after them, I didn't have to have their buggies. And they were huge and they were hard to understand as well. And plus, they take up a lot of room in the boot, whereas this little stroller didn't. And that was a layback one, so it's fine. So I made a blanket for the summer to cover over their little legs if we're going out. And so I decided to use that heart stitch. And what I did was the two colours that I made the heart stitch with, in the solid bit, I would take the other colour. So if I made the hearts, because they were rainbow, they were kind of rainbow colours. If I made the hearts, say, blue and red, for instance, then the next solid part was going to be blue. And then I would do blue with yellow. And then the next solid part would be yellow. So I'd kind of bring that next bit out into the solid. And I really loved that blanket. And one day it kind of got lost and I didn't know where it had gone. And it turned out that Tyler had it, because Tyler seemed to love every single piece of crochet that I ever did. Whether I made something for his mum, like a scarf or something, he wouldn't have it. He would just hoard it. And because it was on the stroller that he had been on, he kind of stole it. So never saw it again. Most of my blankets went that way. Tyler would pile them up in his bed, and he would just be surrounded by all the crochet. And I made the willow blanket tutorial, the very first one, the crochet along that I did. That was his blanket that I made for him. And he would take that to bed every night. It was falling in holes, and it's Yeah. It's his blanket. He dragged that everywhere. But all the kids love a blanket. Harley loves his blankets too, but he's into the fluffy blankets now. He just loves sitting there with blankets. And what he used to do when he used to come round, he used to grab all of my blankets that I had, and he would make a den under. He'd like put them all round the. He'd want to be in a little den, so we'd put them all around the table, and they'd be draping down, so he'd have like a tent, and he would be under there with his toys, playing in his den, which was really just a table with loads of blankets draped around it. Kids are funny things, aren't they? Okay, so I'm going to get to the end of this row, and then I'm going to, for this particular video, I'm going to call it a day, because I really don't feel like I can talk anymore, guys. I just want to flop down into the chair for 5 minutes. I know it's not exactly strenuous what I'm doing, but even taking, you know, paracetamols and all that sort of thing, they're not really helping me at the minute. But I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to give in to this. I'm going to carry on working. If I ever say, I'm sorry, I'm just too ill today, I can't do it, you know I'm bad. You know I'm really bad, because it has to be really bad to stop me. Okay, so there we are. I will carry on with, not now, but I'm going to make this stripe the same size. Or do you think smaller? And just have the thicker ones at the end. Got lots of decisions to make now. Just blue or blue with red. A thicker strip at either end, or the same distance between the strips. Let me know what you think. Hang on, I should be doing this, shouldn't I? That's better. Let me know what you think. And I'll read all your comments and we'll decide it. It will be decided then, once I've read them all, on the next one. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to watch out for those granny squares. I've done 2 already. Not really grannies, they're just squares. But yeah, and we'll get that kind of moving on. And I will get on with my other tutorials. I've also got a couple of open with me's. This is probably coming up on Tuesday. So one was yesterday. The other one I'm definitely, yeah, one of those. Maybe Friday, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone. Bye bye for now.